Hello, welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream about everything pop culture. I'm Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
Today we will be talking about D23, all the reveals from Disney and Pixar, Lucasfilm, and I guess Marvel had reveals. I'm not really sure on Marvel, but a lot to talk about today. But first, let's do our weekend checkup. Caleb, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. I was feeling a little under the weather this week, so I've just kind of been chilling out, taking it slow. Um, I started playing through the Kirby for Forgotten Land game. That's pretty fun. I've actually never been a Kirby guy. Just to give you some perspective on my favorite Kirby games being Kirby Canvas Curse on the DS and Kirby's Epic Yarn on the Wii, both of which are the least Kirby games possible. Um, but no, I'm really liking this one, the Kirby Forgotten Land. It's a lot of fun. Uh, Playing a lot of Old Republic because that's just kind of what I do. But no, yeah, like honestly, ever since I started this new job and I finished my album, I've just been super chill. I've had a busy summer, and so I'm just like, let's chill for a little bit. So yeah, how about yourself?
I'm doing okay. I've been pretty busy. I've started when I say watching, I haven't really been watching myself, but I'm watching someone else react to Attack on Titan. It's been a while since I've visited that world, so it's cool remembering all the stuff that happened. And I think I got to like around chapter 100 when I stopped reading, so I'll be interested to actually finish the whole story this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see what else. So I've been slowly picking up graphic novels here and there, and I'm starting to notice that hey, I'm starting to fill in some of these collections where I can actually read the stories now. They've been set on my shelf, and I've been having gaps in the story, and so now all of a sudden I have a lot of books to read. So I'll be starting, or actually I already started reading through Ninja Turtles. I have most of the old Mirage stories, most of Adventures, which was the Archie comics, and then I have all of the IDW volumes. So that's over 100 issues there. So I've got a lot to read, um, but that's fun. It'll be nice to get caught up because IDW, their TMNT run is just incredible.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so that's what I will be doing here the next few weeks. Um, so let's get to our topics. We got a lot to actually talk about. Uh, D23 was this weekend. This Disney's big show where they showcase everything that they have going on at their parks and cartoons and video games and movies and Disney Plus. I believe it's a 3 day event. Um,
I think so. Yeah.
so they've had a lot of panels over the weekend. So we're going to talk about some of the reveals here. But before you know what, before we get to D23, I skipped over the news.
Oh yeah.
We skipped right over
Well,
that.
I also do have my brief review of a movie that I saw recently too.
Yeah, so let's get to that first.
Okay.
Morbius is a was a Sony movie. It is a spinoff of the Spider-Man universe. We've seen Sony strike gold when they team up with Marvel and when Marvel has a little bit of control with the Spider-Man movies, but this is one where Marvel has little control. So, Caleb, what's your thoughts on Sony's solo efforts into the Spider-Man universe here?
So this was not something that I was planning on watching. This was just I was at my parents' house, and every week we go over there and we watch a movie or something. This just happened to be on Netflix, and it's like, well, we have to watch this. And believe it or not, this movie disappointed me.
Oh my
Eh,
gosh!
well, and here's the thing: I'm not being sarcastic when I say this because I was expecting a huge dumpster fire. This movie is bad, but it's not that bad. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Like,
That's kind of what I've heard. It's
yeah,
kind of just like competent vampire movie,
yeah. Like,
and you know,
I'm starting to think that people have just forgotten what real bad superhero movies are, because this is not the worst thing ever.
right. So this is like
Um,
what you would typically see during like the '90s when superhero
no,
movies were coming out.
no, I'm not even that bad. I'm thinking like mid 2000s. Like, this is probably better than Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I mean, like, this is way better than Fan Four Stick. This is way better than New Mutants. This is way better than um this is way better than Dark Phoenix. This might be just a little bit under Venom, and I love Venom. Um, my only complaints with the movie have to do with the fact that it can't decide whether or not it's going for that corny Venom type movie, or if it's trying to be a serious character piece. So there's definitely some issues there. Um, and then I feel like for the most part, this is the middle of the movie, because the movie just kind of starts. Like, there's no prologue. Like, movie just kind of starts, and then the movie just kind of ends. Like, there's no epilogue or anything. We don't talk about what we've learned at the end. It's like the villain is defeated, and then roll credits. Um, but yeah,
Do you,
it is not that bad.
do you think they are trying to set up Morbius as being part of a Sinister Six movie?
No, no. Because maybe, I don't know.
Well, there's the
Because
weird post-credit sequence, but I don't know if they've changed it since then, where he gets
no,
recruited at the end.
no, they didn't change that. Michael Keaton still comes out of nowhere. And I mean, and here's the thing: it's not like it's just Michael Keaton. Like, they say Adrian Toomes, and he's wearing the exact costume from Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So bizarre.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing with that. I think that this universe that they're trying to make with Craven and Madam Web and all this stuff, I think this universe really relies on whether or not Venom 3 is Amazing Spider-Man 3. I
Yeah,
think that's really what it comes down to. If they get Andrew Garfield back, then this universe might have a leg to stand on.
yeah. There's been rumors, but a lot of those rumors involve D23, and that didn't happen yesterday. So,
Yeah. Well, and I mean,
um,
I mean that's the thing. Why would Disney reveal anything that Sony's doing without them at
yeah,
D23?
exactly.
Um, but yeah, um, that is my review. Is this movie disappointed me because it's not that bad?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard also.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So next up, we did get a trailer reveal. I'm assuming you saw the trailer for the Glass Onion.
Yes, I am so excited.
Now, I was not a huge fan of Knives Out, but I know that you really liked it.
Oh
So this
yes.
is the Netflix sequel to
Hmm.
it. I do think this has a pretty good cast.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I
And
don't know if I'll be checking it out, but I'm sure that you're super excited about it.
oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so the fun thing for me is with Knives Out. And first of all, I think it's funny that, like, this is called Knives Out, or Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, um, because they couldn't just call it Glass Onion. You have to know that it's a Knives Out sequel.
Right.
Even though it's not going to have any, because the reason it's called Knives Out is because the movie has to do with knives. Um, and so this movie's probably going to have nothing to do with knives.
Right.
Um, but what I think is fun is, um, you look at the cast list for Knives Out, and Anna de Armas has never really played like a despicable human being, like a believable despicable human being, like that one Keanu Reeves movie where that she wasn't even a character in that movie. Um, but if you look at this cast list, there's not a single person other than Daniel Craig who's like, yeah, this person is going to be the point of view character who I'm going to fall in love with and I'm going to really like. No, every single one of these people have the capacity to play horrible people, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it like I said, it looks fun. I think it comes out like November or something. It's coming
Yeah.
soon. So very cool. All right, we're gonna move on because we just got a lot to get through. Another news item was that Joker got a real name this week. I don't know if you
Yes.
because you did see this. Okay, uh, kind of a an odd choice. I mean, it makes sense, but his name is I believe it's Jack Oswald White.
I think it's a very odd choice, honestly.
I mean, the Jack White part makes sense, other than it being the White Stripes singer, I believe, right?
Yes. Yes.
But the Oswald part is baffling because we already have Oswald Cobblepot, right, as
Yeah.
Penguin. Um, so it's bizarre, but it's kind of an Elseworld story, also. So who knows if,
Yeah, I believe it's Flashpoint Beyond.
yeah,
I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to modern comics in general.
yeah,
Um,
probably a good
it,
idea.
it's kind of insane because I thought that like whenever we started this show that I'd be getting like more knee deep into modern comics, but I think since we started the show, and it's not the show's fault, it really is the company's fault. But since the show has started, I've paid less attention to
Yeah,
comics.
the only thing that I am interested in that is coming out right now is not from Marvel or uh, DC. Let me find a picture of it.
It's the gargoyles thing, right?
Oh, well, then there's two things I'm interested in. Gargoyles, which that won't be out till like near the end of the year, but they're doing a massive IDW TMNT crossover right now with Ninja Turtles. I don't know if you've seen this,
No, I
but
haven't.
it's called the Armageddon game. Um, and for if you don't know, let me pull this up. When they hit issue 100, the main writer of the series like stepped away and they gave it to Sophie Campbell, and so the series has gone a little bit downhill since then. But now the main writer is coming back, and they're doing like it's like a big like 14-part crossover where the Rat King is finally making his move, and Shredder has to team up with the Turtles, and uh, Krang is back. Krang is taking over Leatherhead's body. It's just all this wild stuff. And then Baxter Stockman's doing his thing, and Agent Bishop, and just all these things are finally colliding. And very excited for this.
So I guess the question is this a Crisis on Infinite Earths or is this a Secret Wars 2015? Is this the beginning of something new or is this the end of what has been?
I think this is the culmination of everything that's been building up and building up. Issue 100 had major ramifications for Shredder and Splinter, and so now we're kind of picking up those pieces. And there's a group called the I think they're called the Pantheon. They're kind of like these. I wouldn't call them gods, but like these upper beings. They're like using everybody like as chess pieces. So all those people are making their moves, and Rat King is one of them.
Okay.
So, but it's like it's very exciting that all this stuff is finally going to pay off. They're bringing in one of my favorite characters from the Archie comics, Cuddly the Cowlick, who is a giant cowhead that floats around and picks people up his mouth and teleports them to places. It's bizarre and it's awesome, and I love it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So, yeah, Cuddly's awesome. Have you ever seen Cuddly before?
No. So if they weren't in, so my turtles, um my turtles knowledge really comes from video games, the OG show, a little bit of the Mirage stuff, primarily the 2003 show up through Back to the Sewer, um, and then like half of the 2012 show. Okay, hey.
Cuddly is the best.
Okay.
So, and I think of the story, he picks up Shredder and Leonardo. So it'll just be fun seeing Shredder getting picked up by Cuddly the Cowlick. So yeah, Cuddly appears very early on in the Archie run of the Ninja Turtle comics. And so I was like right when I started getting into Ninja Turtles. So it's like one of my OG characters. I love Cuddly, and there's rumors that they're going to be making that NECA is going to actually make a figure of him that you can hang on the wall. It'll be sick.
They're
And I
they're
hope
they're they're like, oh, how you got this mounted on your wall? How'd you get this one?
and if it's big enough to actually put figures inside its mouth, it'll be insane. It'll be like $300. This big cow head.
Oh man,
So
I don't know if NECA does the HasLabs type thing, but that seems like a HasLabs thing.
yeah, they just started doing the Archie figures. Um, the Slash one looks insane. I actually got that one on pre-order. Um, it is like the best looking Slash figure they've ever made. For those who don't know, Slash is an evil Ninja Turtle who usually becomes a good guy eventually. Um, but this is what the Archie figure or
Oh,
the
that's
neck
really
figure.
cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. So can't wait for that one. That one should be here sometime this month, actually. So if you don't know, I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. So this stuff is so good. All right, back to what we're supposed to be talking about today. D23, and one day we will do a Ninja Turtle show. It'll be a big blowout, but
I'm sure, yeah. It'll probably be something about like I don't know what it would be about because, like I said, 2003 show is my jam.
I think it'd be fun to explore the different eras of the Turtles and figure out what worked and what didn't work in each era.
Yeah,
So, but that would be a different episode.
and then just Usagi Yojimbo. That's my answer to every question.
Usagi's great. So,
D23.
so D23, we're gonna split this into three groups. We'll talk about Disney first, and that includes Pixar. What was revealed through them.
And then the two video games that we're both interested in as well, or
Yeah.
at least like we're both interested in one of them, and then there's one that I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah. So let me pull up the first movie we want to talk about. Disenchanted. I think I've seen the first one, or I've seen parts of it. I get all these movies mixed up. There's very similar movies with the theme of, I get this and Ella Enchanted, some other movies mixed up.
Yeah. So this one is really for me because Enchanted, I believe, is the greatest live action movie to come out of the Disney vault. I am a big fan of Enchanted. I talk about this a lot about how there are a lot of movies that I saw whenever I was a kid because when we lived up in Jersey, you had free movie Tuesdays with the cable package. This was one of those movies. So not everything was The Astronaut Farmer. um, I got to see Enchanted, and I I was a young boy. I didn't want to see a Disney princess movie. I saw this movie and I loved it. Um, I think that Giselle is like a great Disney princess. Patrick Dempsey's character, who I can never remember his name, is just so funny. I love a good straight man. Um, and then we can't talk about Enchanted without talking about Prince Edward. played by James Marsden. I firmly believe that Prince Edward is James Marsden's best role. Prince Edward is a himbo. He is the ultimate himbo. He has the mind of a tadpole and the body of a fridge. And he's amazing. And then they come out with this trailer, and it's brilliant because if you haven't seen the trailer, she wishes for a fairy tale life. They're going to the suburbs and it's boring. So Giselle wishes for a fairy tale life, but Monkey's Paw, she's the evil stepmother because Patrick Dempsey had a daughter already before they got married, and so she's the evil stepmother, and it's great, and I'm so excited for it. This is very strange as a 25-year-old man to be talking about how excited I am for one of these because I typically don't like the live action Disney movies that they've been coming out with. In fact, I doubt we'll be talking about any of the reveals that happen this week because I personally don't care other than this movie because I'm so excited. But you know how like me and Cameron have like this streak of like we've seen every MCU movie in the theater. We have a similar streak where all these live action Disney movies they've been coming out with, I've seen none of them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and keep that streak. But yeah, I so I don't know. The only one that interests me possibly is Peter Pan and Wendy, and I still probably won't see that one.
Hey, so you haven't obviously you have not watched the live action Pinocchio that just came out, right?
No, I've heard about it though.
So I'm going to spoil the ending of the movie. I have not
Go
seen
ahead.
it either, but
I know they drink root beer instead of beer.
which is stupid.
I don't. How do they get drunk on root beer?
Yeah. So you've seen the original Pinocchio, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I just pulled up Wikipedia. So, believing his father has died, Pinocchio cries over him, and a magic tears falls from his eye on Geppetto, reviving him. Geppetto then tells Pinocchio that despite being a puppet, he has proven himself to be a true boy at heart for all that he's done, and they depart for home. Meanwhile, Jiminy Cricket says in a narration that stories have been told of Pinocchio becoming a real boy, but Jiminy doesn't confirm if they're true or not, despite a subtle hint being shown otherwise. But what matters is Pinocchio has the heart of a real boy, brave, truthful, and unselfish, and that he's fully revealed to his loving, proud father, Geppetto. So he's like, he might be a real boy, he might not be. It doesn't matter. It's such a stupid ending.
And here's the thing. I get it. I know what they're going with it. Execution is off, you know?
Yeah, it's just it's like yeah, he might be a real boy, might not. Who cares?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I was never like super huge into Pinocchio to begin. Like I've seen it. My mom has it on Blu-ray. It's one of those things where like something comes out of the Disney vault on Blu-ray, we'll get it from my mom. So that's one of them.
Yeah.
It's all right. But yeah,
I'm more interested in the Del Toro one that's coming out. That one looks very interesting.
Or Life of P, the Bloodborne type video game. Have you heard about that one?
I have not. What is that?
Okay, so Life of P is like a horror video game where you play as Pinocchio in Victorian England.
Okay.
And that's really all we know about it so far, but it's really interesting. It looks like Bloodborne, but you're playing as Pinocchio.
That reminds me of those Alice in Wonderland games that came out a long time ago.
Yeah. It does look like that.
So I'm going to bring up Hocus Pocus 2. I'm not a huge Hocus Pocus fan. My wife is, though. She's obsessed with this movie. And I know a lot of people are excited. I figured
we'd talk about this. Because whenever they announce this, I'm like, oh, I'm sure Andrea is excited.
Yeah.
She tried to make me watch it whenever I was over at Cheryl's house one time when I was a kid, and I just was not interested.
It's an okay movie. It's not my favorite. But the trailer didn't look bad. It was like more of the same. So I'm glad that the fans are getting it. a follow up. So
Sure, yeah. I'm kind of wanting, because if we're talking about like one that I grew up with, I want like another Halloween Town. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, I only liked Halloween Town because of Judith Hogue and Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so Debbie, of course, Debbie has passed on, but
Mhm.
Judith's awesome. If you don't follow her on Instagram, she is very involved in the Ninja Turtle action figure community.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sure I love the fact that she is so proud of what she did in the 90s.
yeah, she has really embraced it here lately, and she keeps like the and I what's his name, Elias Koteas, the one that did was Casey. He was like,
Mhm.
I don't want him to use my image for a figure. She talked him into it, so she's
Okay.
why we have the Casey figure now.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it's cool that they're still friends and stuff, and um,
I
yeah,
quote Casey all the time. Honestly, there we go.
gosh,
That's my turtles. I'm just like, uh, it's my favorite piece of did you know turtles lore?
what
Um,
is that?
the kid who is like,
The
we're
cigarette kid?
we're family. You know that
Yeah,
guy? That's
yeah,
Sam
it's
Rockwell.
yeah, yeah. I just watched the movie like last week actually, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's Sam again. Yeah,
It's my
yeah.
favorite. He's like, you think all this here and that over there is family? I love it. And then Casey's like, ooh, leftovers. I mean, he's
the
great. I love him.
the first movie is so good. I will fight anybody on that first movie. That first movie is it's almost perfection.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably change the way they defeated Shredder at the end, but other than that, it's like a perfect Ninja Turtle movie.
Oh no, I wouldn't change anything about it. Honestly, I think it's all great.
Yeah, and if they had made part two a little bit, I don't know why it's turning into a Ninja Turtle podcast, live stream, whatever, but I'm all for it. If they had
Because
changed the second movie and revealed that David Warner's scientist character was an Utrom, I think that would have been a better film. And then,
honestly, that would have fit the '90s too.
yeah, I mean, well, that's the story from the comics. They just left out the Utrom part. And then, if the third movie, if they had included Renee, the time and the time set, tied that into the time scepter, that she's a bumbling fool, and that's the reason they got sent back in time. And you could maybe throw in Savante Romero. He's a little bit too extreme with his horns and everything, but I think that would have been a more closer to the comics and a better sequel. So, anyhow,
Well, and that's our thoughts on Hocus Pocus too.
that's our thoughts on Hocus Pocus 2 needs more Savante Romero. All right. And that's really
um,
all our thoughts on the Disney portion. Oh, well, we'll talk about Pixar.
yeah,
Uh, let's see.
we're about to have a therapy session with this one.
I my feelings on current Pixar are not good. I do not care for current Pixar. I think that since they got rid of John Lasseter, it's really gone downhill.
Mm,
Uh, but they did announce that Inside Out 2 is being released, and they can't even get the whole cast back for this. That's your first warning bell that something's
yeah,
wrong with this movie. Uh, what's her name? Mindy
Mindy
Kaling
Kaling.
isn't coming back, and then the guy from Saturday Night Live, Bill Hader, he's not coming back. So both of us do not have fond memories of the first movie. I
Yeah,
hated the first
yeah.
movie.
Now here's the thing. And those not fond memories we took in different ways, because Inside Out is actually my favorite Pixar movie.
Okay.
Uh,
It
yeah.
made me relive some really painful moments from my past as a kid. We moved around a
We
lot,
yes,
and we had to
we are
say good
both
friends.
children. We are both children of fathers who had jobs where we moved around a lot. And oh my gosh, that breakdown that Riley has at the end, I guess the reason you took Inside Out as reliving the painful memories. The
Yeah.
way I took Inside Out was like I was finally being seen, like in a movie my pain was being acknowledged.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I respect the movie.
Oh yeah.
I will never watch this again ever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so in a sense, with this being my favorite Pixar movie, I'm excited just because it's a sequel to my favorite Pixar movie, but like as far as the behind the scenes stuff, that's a little iffy. And also, my pitch for Inside Out 2 was always Riley going through puberty and how puberty affects the emotions. But they've already done a puberty movie now, so
Yep.
it doesn't work.
Right.
So I have no idea what this one will be about.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I I was kind of I kind of rolled my eyes with some of their other announcements. Like they announced one called Elementals, where a fire and a water fall in love or something. And I'm just like, these are ideas I had 20 years ago, and they were stupid back then. They're, y'all are just kind of, I don't know. You just keep digging into this concept of what else can we humanize and make a movie out of, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess that's always kind of been their thing, is like taking inanimate objects and ideas and humanizing them. But I guess there comes a point whenever you start humanizing a fork. Um, and I've never seen Toy Story 4. I just think
I
it's
have
funny.
not. I have not seen it either.
I just think it's funny that they're humanizing a fork.
And I'm a huge Toy Story fan. The problem was Toy Story 3 had such a perfect ending. There is no reason for me to ever return to that universe.
Hot take. I mean, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Toy Story 3 is the best Toy Story movie. Like,
Oh, you want to talk about I could talk a whole episode about Toy Story 3, about all the heaven and hell imagery throughout that movie. It is
oh yeah,
everywhere in that
oh yeah.
movie. Um
Uh,
it's wild. We
no.
should do a whole episode about Pixar theories, about how Up is about purgatory, and there's there's all kinds of stuff. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Something about
I could make a really good case about Up being the story of purgatory and him not being able to let go of his past and
yeah.
finally
You
moving
know,
on.
you know what's funny? So my best friend got married last year, and whenever they were planning their wedding, she, um, his now wife, she wanted to have an Up themed wedding with like balloons and stuff, blah blah blah, and then like the whole theme is adventures out there, and I was able to talk them out of that, because I'm like, you want your wedding theme to be the beginning of the film is the saddest beginning I've ever seen, and the end of a marriage, and like a barren woman, and this is not a wedding theme.
Yeah, I could see what she was going for, but yeah, probably not the best idea.
Yeah, so we well, honestly, Wally would be the best, because Wally and Eve is the best love story to ever come out of Pixar.
Are you sure he's like 500 years old and she's like 12 years old? It's kind of creepy.
You know what? DiCaprio does it. By the way, back in our news section, DiCaprio strikes again.
What did he do now? I don't pay attention to.
Oh, okay. His girlfriend turned 25 and he broke up with her again. So
Well,
he still has not dated anyone over the age of 25.
he's got a type. That's
I watched a I watched a video where it's like, there will come a time where this is creepy, but right now, get it, DiCaprio.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's really it for Pixar. Pixar didn't reveal a whole lot, did they?
They showed a lot of concept art, but it wasn't. There's some like
Yeah.
baseball game coming out,
Yeah.
or a baseball show. You know
Yeah.
what? Before we get to Lucasfilm, let me switch back.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the video games.
Yeah. Um, Have you ever played the Gargoyles game before?
Yes.
Okay, because I've never played it. I've just always looked at it and I said, "This is the best animation I've seen on a Sega Genesis."
It's pretty good. It's definitely up there. Oh, that's a small picture. I thought that picture was gonna be bigger. I remember the game being difficult, and I kind of was watching a playthrough of it. It looks like it's short. You can beat it for like 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. But it's fun. You know run around just smashing Vikings and jumping off of walls, doing wall jumps, and gliding and attacking people.
So,
Um, I used to play it on the Sega channel back in the day. So
okay. Now, I think the most interesting thing about this is not the game itself, but the ramifications of what they've been doing with the Gargoyles brand as of late.
I am so
Um,
excited.
well, because there's something coming, right?
There has to be either they've just like here's this property that's just sitting here and we can make money off of it. And they finally noticed that because we've gotten a board game, we've gotten the NECA figures. There are stuffed animals of gargoyles that you can get at Target right now. Like there's a Demona stuffed animal, and I'm like, what world am I living in? We didn't even have the stuff when the original show was out. I think all we had was the action figures.
Yeah. And so
Um,
then you got the new comic coming out. You've got the game. I think the only thing that we have to wait on now is Disney is going to see how X-Men 97 does. And if X-Men 97 does really well, then they greenlight another season of Gargoyles.
I hope so. There's a podcast that I listen to every once in a while called Voices from the Erie, and they have the creator Greg Wiseman on there every week, and they're just going episode through episode, just discussing the making of it. And they'll have like the voice cast on there and stuff. Really cool podcast. So yeah, he will. He's real quiet when I ask him about what stuff's coming and stuff. He goes, "There's stuff I can announce, there's stuff I can't announce." So he was
Mhm.
he was quiet about the comic book until it came out. Now he could talk about it. Um, so who
And that
knows if there's anything else coming? The way and he talks about this, the way Hollywood works is he goes, they'll forget I'm alive, that I exist, if there's like someone out there dying to do gargoyles, because the people in charge are constantly changing at Disney. So they don't know
Mhm.
he's out there, so he has to keep saying, oh hey, I'm out here, hey, I want to do more gargoyles and stuff. So he just has to get the right person's attention. So
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad because Gargoyles is not creator owned. They could do Gargoyles without him.
absolutely, and that is my biggest fear. I know Jordan Peele wanted to do a live action gargoyles movie. um
I
and
could I could get behind that in a way. I could see it.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
see if that happens, then I think my gargoyles is dead at that point. Like I won't get more of what I want. So
True. Um, but yeah, no, I thought that like I said, I guess like I'm not as interested in the game itself because it's just a remaster, but more like the ramifications of
yeah,
what is to come. Now, the game that I am really interested in, and I'm also interested in the ramifications of what's to come, is they announced a new Tron video game called Tron Identity, which for me, I love Tron. I love the first movie. I love the cartoon Tron Uprising. I love Tron Legacy. Um, I love the Tron worlds in Kingdom Hearts. um, I love Tron and all the video games, and so I've been wanting uh, the a new Tron movie since Legacy, and I know that it's dead because of Tomorrowland and because once Disney got Star Wars, they had no reason to make more Tron. um, why would they when they have Star Wars? However, if you come out with this Tron video game, and first of all, I'm already interested, and I think it takes place like 400 years after Legacy, which is super weird and super exciting. And I think it's some sort of like detective romp. It's a really weird idea for a Tron game, but I'm on board with it. Um, and so not only am I super interested in Tron Identity, I'm interested in the ramifications of more Tron coming out, and perhaps Tron is coming back, which I would totally thousands of years after Legacy. I just looked it up. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it takes place a long time after Legacy. But yes, I'm interested to see where Tron goes after this. Now, as far as Bithell games, I am actually not too familiar with like games that they've made, except for John Wick Hex, which I have never played. But it's definitely not what I would have wanted out of a John Wick game. I always want to call it Jonah Hex because it's called John Wick Hex. Um, it's like an action strategy game, so I'm interested to see where this Tron game goes. I'm already. It's not going to be a AAA title. I already know that. It'll be a fun. It might be one of those indie games that I play over and over again. Um, but I'm very interested in the game, and I'm just super excited to go back into that world. Um, I don't know. I don't think we've ever talked Tron, so I don't know like how on board you are with
Um,
Tron.
I remember liking the first movie, but that's been about as far as I've gone. I have not watched the new movie. I have nothing against Tron. It's just not something I'm really given a chance to really get into.
You know what I think you would love? Because I don't know how you would feel about Tron Legacy. Tron Uprising is so up your alley.
And that's the TV or the series, right? The
Right, right. It definitely
yeah,
it's not Greg Wiseman, but it definitely has that feel to it. Like
it's Cameron Pasha, who I've told you to check out before on YouTube. I know
right.
who wrote it.
Okay.
So, and he actually got fired from the show, and then the show went according to him. I haven't watched it. Went downhill towards the end because he was no longer involved. Um, but yeah, he talks about it all the time. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind checking it out sometime. I just right now my list of things to check out is getting so long.
I
So
think at this point, like with all these because I have a friend, Willis. Shout outs to Willis. I think he watches sometimes. Um but I'll tell him to watch stuff, and he'll always talk about how his list is so long. I think in the age of streaming with like Disney, HBO Max, Amazon, all this stuff, everyone's list is constantly getting longer and longer, and we just have to accept that we are never going to be able to consume as much media as we think we are in a lifetime, which is freaking me out as a 25-year-old thinking about that. But it's definitely um, it's definitely interesting to be in this time, you know.
I always find it interesting, and at the end of the day, pop culture doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking, there'll be new Star Wars stories after I die. This will keep going.
Don't tell me that, man. Don't tell me that. I
You know, so but at the end of the day, you'll realize, oh, none of this stuff mattered. But
right, right.
uh, yeah, I think about that sometimes. But all right, so let's see. We were just talking about Tron, so let's move on to surprisingly what I found to be the strongest part of D23, and that was Lucasfilm reveals.
All right, give me 1 second before you share, because I'm gonna pull this
Oh,
up.
you
But
know
yeah.
what? I asked you to pull up pictures. I just pulled up all the pictures
Oh,
myself.
oh, I got it. I got it.
Okay,
Yeah, I got them already.
awesome.
So the first two were not specific to D23, but I figure we go ahead and talk about them. The Acolyte just got a recent casting. Did you watch Squid Game?
I did. I'm a huge fan of Squid Game.
So the main character of Squid Game is going to be the male lead of the Acolyte.
Okay. This is one of those series that I I think is still happening, and I know they're making
Yes.
announcements, but they're, if you believe the rumors of a Disney Civil War, this is on one of the sides.
Yeah.
So if that side suddenly goes away, this could also suddenly go away. So this is one of
It,
those ones where I'm like 50-50 where it actually come out.
yeah. I think out of all of the ones, this is the one that out of all the ones that we don't have trailers for right now, this is the one that I believe the most. Like I want Lando to come out, of course. I want Droid Tales, but like this is the one that I believe in the most as actually coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because
so
there's a lot of Star Wars projects that have been announced that we will never see.
oh yeah,
The Ryan Johnson trilogy is never going to happen. I don't care how much he talks about it. The one from the Game of Thrones guys is never happening.
oh that one definitely got canned.
And Rogue Squadron, at least from Patty Jenkins, is probably never going to see the site. Never see the light of day.
Yeah,
So
and we don't even know about Taika Waititi's stuff right now.
yeah, given the rumors that he's out at Marvel, yeah, I don't know.
How do you know what, we didn't talk about that. I guess we'll talk about that when we get to Marvel, because that's interesting, because you've got him out of Marvel because Thor 4 bombed, but then they're still talking about Chloe Zhao coming back for Eternals, even though that bombed too. But whatever, we're talking about Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can both agree that Star Wars stole the show, and I'm so excited for it. I'm so here for it because Star Wars is my thing.
Yeah, and I kind of ignored it all yesterday, and then like late last night I started watching trailers. So I was like, "Oh wait, what?"
Oh yeah, yeah. This is something. So we've got that. Acolyte is going to be pretty cool. We didn't get any public footage on the Ahsoka series. However, we did get some stills from the crowd. It looks like that they are just remaking the ending to Rebels in live action, which is super cool. And then we also got a reveal of who is playing Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
An actor named Iman Esfandi. This is someone who I'm not too familiar with. I think he was only in one big thing. He's definitely he's definitely an up and coming actor. I'm a little disappointed because first I know Mina Masood, who played Ezra in the show, wanted to play him, and I know he's not too happy about the casting. Me, I wanted Raul Coley to play Ezra because I love Raul Coley. But I'm not too upset about the casting just because I think that it's great that we get people who are like not particularly like famous to play these characters. It just really allows them to be the characters and not be like, oh yeah, that's not Captain America, that is Chris Evans playing Captain America. You know, like I won't see Iman Esfandi, I will see Ezra Bridger because that's all I've seen him as. Even Rosario Dawson, it takes a lot of makeup to make me think that's Ahsoka.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever watch Fear the Walking Dead?
I watched like maybe the first half of the first season.
Yeah. The kid on there, I always thought looked like Ezra.
Okay.
I'll pull up a picture of him. Let's see. I mean, he wasn't a great actor. I just thought he, if you're just casting just by how they looked, I always thought that he would have been a decent Ezra.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyhow, that's who I always thought when they were talking about who would to cast. So, all right. Whoops, I almost left the whole show. Don't do that. Come back. All right.
So let's see. The next announcement that we got, and I can't remember what order I put these in. I know I put these in a particular order, but I can't remember what. Oh yes, we got an announcement about the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch is going to be premiering in January of 2023, which is exciting. If you aren't aware of this, it was supposed to come out next month, but then it got delayed, which we're not sure why it got delayed. I think there are a lot of factors that can go into it. I think the major one being that they really want to focus on Andor, and like if you're looking at Star Wars, you better be looking at Andor.
Well, I think it's a little crowded right now with Andor and Tales of the Jedi and
Yes,
Willow all coming out. So
yes. But it's good to know that like there is a definite release window of that being January 2023. So that's exciting. Excited to see the gang back, the gang as if they're the Scooby Gang or something. um, I'm excited to see Gregor. Gregor is someone who I'm really excited to see. Um, but yeah. Oh yes, and then we got some information on Skeleton Crew. Now, how much do you know about Skeleton Crew?
nothing.
Okay, gotcha. So, showrunner, if I recall, I think it's John Watts. John Watts is the showrunner.
Okay.
Um, and so he's really wanting this to be like a coming of, because of course I am convinced that John Watts is like the reincarnation of John Hughes because he's just trying to do John Hughes. But he says that he wants this to be a really big coming of age story. It's not going to be super serious. It's going to be a little bit on the funnier side while still telling a very heartwarming coming of age story. And so we've got our first still with the star. Um, what's Jude Law? And I'm just super excited for it.
So are those things around him the things from Jabba's palace?
That is what they look like. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
funny.
know yeah, and I don't know if we know where this takes place.
It'll be
Um,
Tatooine. Everything's Tatooine. You know it.
oh, I'm in the timeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Tatooine. Um, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Raxus Prime because like from what I'm hearing, it's like a junker crew or something. So it'd be cool to take place on like a junkyard planet or something. But this is definitely Jabba's palace on Tatooine. So I don't know if this is Jabba or if this is Boba, like if this is Boba's palace at this point. Um, but yeah, definitely excited for this. Um, and I think I I think Jude Law can really play a really optimistic person, which is kind of the feeling like just from looking at this still. I want him to be the captain of this crew and just be like super optimistic, even though everything goes horribly wrong for them. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting just from this one still, and I'm definitely reading into this way too much. But um, yeah, I'm really excited. Next up is Young Jedi Adventures. I know what you're thinking, Caleb. Are you really excited for this
That
preschool Disney Junior Star Wars show?
that was not what I was thinking. I was thinking, is that a Care Bear on the right?
It is possible. That is very possible that it's a Care Bear.
That doesn't
Um,
look like an Ewok. His
yeah,
ears are too big. It's got the little heart nose. That's
yeah.
weird.
um, but the answer is yes. I am very excited for a Disney Junior preschool show. Um, and let me
Well,
explain why.
uh, well, okay. I might steal your thunder, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Star Wars was something that I had when I was growing up, when I was a kid, and I've always loved it. It's my favorite thing, like whether it's a comic book, movie, video game. Star Wars is just my favorite thing. And it really breaks my heart whenever I talk to kids nowadays and they have no idea what Star Wars is.
Well,
Um,
I was talking to a little kid the other day that didn't know who Superman was, so it's bizarre.
yeah. Um, and so I'm super excited for there to be a Star Wars like show, um, for kids that's like maybe not on the serious side, but like definitely them. My dream for this is there was a show whenever I was a probably in my mid-teens, early to mid-teens, that was out for Marvel that I think is a great show. And if this show is anything like that show, I'll love it. That show is
And
called
that
Marvel.
Marvel
What that?
Superhero Squad,
Marvel
yeah.
Superhero Squad. If this show is anything like Marvel Superhero Squad, this will be a great show.
And that's what I was going to say when you pulled up this image. It depends on what type of show it is. If it's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, who cares? But if it's like Marvel Superhero Squad, then yeah, it could be a whole lot of fun.
So I think the perfect midway between the two, because they've said preschool and grade school. I don't know what that means, but if it's just preschool, there is one show that is so I know a lot about your Nick Jr. and Disney Junior shows because my mom babysat a lot as whenever like I was a kid, and even as an adult whenever I was still living with them, and so I'd help babysit these kids, and so I watched Yo Gabba Gabba and Wow Wow Wubsy. There's one that is like a nice midway point between Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Superhero Squad, and it was like I think it was Special Agent Oso or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was about like this polar bear. I think it was a polar bear, but he was like James Bond.
Yeah,
So, uh, regardless of what the show is, I'll give it a shot because I do love Superhero Squad. If it does end up just being a look at the screen, where's the cheat? He's behind the box type of show. Um, then it's probably not for me. But as long as we are getting Star Wars out there for kids, I'm totally on board.
agreed.
So I am very excited for this.
And one thing we have to remember as fans, it's not everything that's for us.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
because it has
definitely,
Star Wars on it, it does not mean it's for you. So
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I love hearing George Lucas tell fans that Star Wars is for kids.
yeah.
I love those interviews.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I think the next the I think at this point we have the last three. Yes, so the last three are kind of the three big ones for right now. We got a new Andor trailer. Andor premieres next week. Super excited about it um, because it's not using the same technology that the other Star Wars shows have used. If you're not aware of that, um, so you made a joke that every show takes place on Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
This one will not,
Good.
because the reason that every show takes place on Tatooine is because that's what the technology that they use for their sets allows. This show is not using that technology. This show is using like actual sets and actual location shooting. Um, so I'm very excited for the show. We have a 3 episode premiere coming out next week. Um, and I think this is probably going to be the best Star Wars show since Mandalorian. I don't know if it's going to be better than Mandalorian, but the reason is if you think about the shows that people have not liked, that being Boba Fett and some people didn't like Obi-Wan, it's because people viewed them as character assassination. But who gives a crap about Cassian Andor? You can do whatever you want with him. Nobody will care.
Yeah, and I still have not even checked out Obi-Wan, so I don't think I'll be, unless everybody's just going crazy over this show, I will not be checking this one out. None of the trailers, they're not bad, but they haven't really grabbed me. It's like I don't care about these characters,
Sure, sure.
so
Understood, understood.
yeah.
I do think that you will be hearing people go in a buzz about this show, though. So, but we'll
Hopefully.
see. Yeah, but we'll see next week. Next one, super exciting, is Tales of the Jedi. Um,
This blew me away last night.
yeah, yeah. So, did you not know about this?
I knew about it, I forgot about it.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so excited for this. I don't know for those of you who don't know what it is. This is a six mini episodes. So we don't know how long the episodes will be. This could be shorter than the Tartakovsky shorts. You know. um,
It'll probably be about the length of the stuff we got last year, the Visions or whatever it was
yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get anything on Visions 2, which was a disappointment, but we already got so much that it's understandable. Um, but yes, Tales of the Jedi is going to be 6 shorts, 3 shorts dedicated to the origins of Count Dooku, and 6 shorts dedicated to the origin. I'm sorry, 3 shorts dedicated to the origins of Ahsoka Tano, which I think is super interesting. I think the one that's definitely going to matter for the future is going to be the Ahsoka one, because whatever happens there will probably be affected in the show. But I know that, like myself and everyone else, the one we're all hyped for is a Dooku story. Um, I'm so excited. Um, and
I
it,
agree because Dooku and young Qui Gon is what got me
uh,
excited. It looks so
young
good.
Qui-Gon, yes, yes. I know it's not Liam Neeson, but it couldn't be Liam Neeson because he's not that old. He's supposed to be basically a kid. Um, but I'm really excited. This definitely is going to be a Fall of Dooku um, mini series, uh, and I am so excited for it. I love that he's got the curved handle with a blue lightsaber. I think it's funny that we've gotten because I think in the trailer, was that Yoda with a mullet? It looked like a mullet to me.
I thought that was Yaddle.
I thought it was Yaddle at first too, but then I saw uh, whoever it was fighting with Dooku, and I'm like, why would Yaddle fight with Dooku?
I'm pretty sure it's Yaddle, but yeah, I don't know for a fact. Because I don't think we've had many stories with Yaddle. Like I haven't watched a lot of Clone Wars, but I don't know
No,
that
no. I
often.
mean, the most exposure Yaddle has gotten is she was a character in the Skywalker Saga, the Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, and I definitely knew that this would be the one that we talk about uh, the most enthusiastically, because it's Dave Filoni. It's an art style we all love. Um, if I had to guess, this is definitely the reason why Bad Batch got delayed, because they wanted to get this out as soon as possible. You have Andor and Bad Batch come out at the same time, sure, um, but you can't have 2 cartoons with the same art style coming out at the same time. And they definitely wanted to get this one out. So, Tales of the Jedi, super excited. I really hope we get more. Um, like, I'm thinking like an Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
as a kid, because I mean he was talking about how in the show, and I know you haven't watched the show yet, um, but he's talking about telling Leia about his childhood and how he doesn't remember his childhood. I think I had a brother. I can't remember. I think that's so cool to hear Obi-Wan say, "I think I had a brother." It's so weird. Um, it was a
Well,
very
the
vulnerable moment in the show.
in the extended universe, they did the whole thing about Owen being his brother. Of course, that's all been erased. Um, so, who was the? I know I've seen it before. Who's the bad guy that confronting Ahsoka at the end? I,
That's an Inquisitor. I couldn't place it just by looking at him. I'll go ahead and look that up real quick because like I definitely think that's somebody.
from a video game or a novel or something. I've seen it before, or at least something similar. But
Well,
I
yeah, I
thought this
mean,
was the wrong era, is what I was thinking. I was like, isn't that like an older character? So I don't know.
let's see. No, we do not know.
Okay, he just looks like
Who?
somebody I've
Yeah.
seen before. Okay.
So what I'm thinking is because I think if I had to guess the structure of the Ahsoka um the structure of the Ahsoka shorts is going to be the first short is going to be about Ahsoka's origins and her being a baby and being discovered by the Jedi. The second short will probably be about Anakin training her, which I think is super cool that he has the clones like fight her because that proves why she survived Order 66 because Anakin trained her to fight the clones.
Oh yeah,
It's so cool. And then I think that the last one will take place um, after Order 66. And so this Inquisitor that's hunting her, this will probably take place a little bit after Revenge of the Sith, where like Inquisitors are hunting Jedi. And so this Inquisitor is probably the one that was sent to kill Ahsoka.
hmm.
Um, which this might be where she gets her white lightsabers. Because that's how white light. So if I could just geek out for a second here, in the old expanded universe, people just chose their lightsaber colors, and that's how that worked. Um, the way lightsaber colors work now with Disney is the lightsaber crystal chooses their master, and so that's the color you get. The way you get a red crystal is you have to make the crystal bleed, and
Hmm.
so you can infer that this was once their crystal that they made bleed, or this was a Jedi that the Inquisitors killed that they made the crystal bleed. The way you get a white lightsaber is you have to heal a bleeding saber. So my theory is this Inquisitor who has a double-bladed lightsaber has two red bleeding crystals. Ahsoka kills them, takes their saber, and heals them, and that's how she gets her white lightsabers.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a dork. Welcome to Pop Culture Shark. I love Star Wars.
You remind me of myself about 15 years ago when I still really was into Star Wars. Before, uh, I think
Before the dark times, before the Empire.
I think shortly after the prequels, I started losing the thread. It was around the time Chewbacca died in the novels. That's probably when I lost the focus on that. So
By the way, if anyone wants to know, that's why they got rid of the expanded universe. It has nothing to do with it being too complicated. It has nothing to do with them wanting to have a clean slate. It's just because they didn't want to have a universe where Chewbacca died. That is
yep,
it.
yep,
We got
you got it.
and so on the Star Wars front, we got one more. I don't know if you saw this trailer, but I went over to my parents' house yesterday. I sat down. I'm like, we got to watch the trailer. Sit down. It's Mandalorian. Um, super excited um,
Yeah,
because
you're excited because Babu Frick is back. I know.
oh my gosh, I was so you know what, and I had to stop myself from saying that. Like I'm not even joking because like I saw him and I'm like, oh my god, that's Babu Frick. I'd stop myself because of the meme that's like Star Wars fans be like, oh my god, it's Boopity Goopity. And now I'm a lot more like self-conscious about that, and so I couldn't say, "Oh my God, it's Babu Frick."
That's funny.
Um, yeah. So uh, no, I'm super excited. I mean, like we are getting knee deep into Mandalorian culture, and I'm here for it. We are calling Night Watch a cult, which is awesome. Um, I have no idea where they're going with Bo Katan. I don't know if she's a good guy. I don't know if she's a bad guy.
She's gonna be a bad guy. You could tell by the trailer. It
I
was like,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, but at the same time, she's right. Night Watch or Death Watch, Night Watch, as if this is Turtles. We're back on Turtles.
turtles.
Death Watch is a cult, and they are not good people. So she's right. um, so I mean, I guess I just don't know what they're doing with that character, but I'm so interested. I'm just like, oh man, we are getting a freaking live action Mandalore. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it looked really good. I mean, it's about what I expected the story to go, the directions. But yeah, really excited to see what happens next. Um, yeah, so there's one more Lucasfilm
Yeah,
project. I don't know if you did you get a
I
picture of it, or I can pull
I
up the
didn't.
picture.
Yeah, I didn't. I definitely forgot, but I do want to talk about it.
Okay, so let me pull it up.
Okay.
Um, that'd be Willow. Um, I know some people love this movie, some people don't. I'm a pretty big fan of Willow.
I like
Uh,
Willow as well.
I love Warwick Davis. It's more him than the movie. I just love him as a person. He's great. Uh, Trailer looked a lot of fun. I was a little confused when he pulled out a flamethrower, but but other than that, it just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. Even my family's excited for it because I remember this was before D23 because we've had the first trailer for a while. But it was like maybe 2 weeks ago. We're just like every so often we'll just go on a YouTube binge of watching trailers for some reason. And then we'll get like fan made trailers and we'll make fun of them because they're always really bad.
Hmm.
Um, but we saw the Willow trailer and we're like, wow, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. I do think it's weird. Like it's a sequel, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely making references to the first movie.
I,
Absolutely.
I don't know how I feel about this trend of like the sequel is the same name as the previous one. It's like
Oh yeah.
Halloween and it's sequel Halloween.
Right. I
Uh,
don't. They do the same thing in comic books lately, where there's multiple stories with the title Secret Wars and whatnot. They just
yeah,
keep recycling names, and I agree. It should be like Willow the Dark, whatever, or something.
yeah.
The
Darkness, darkness, light, friendship, darkness.
Willow the Flamethrower years or something.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, there was one more Lucasfilm. We don't have to pull up a picture for it, but apparently Indiana Jones 5 is still happening, and I still don't care. Um,
Well, speaking of that, they announced that, and I don't know the actor's name, but the one from Everything Everywhere All at Once and Goonies and
Short
everything,
round, yeah.
Short Round, is going to be on Loki next season.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and so he was there,
I
and
did see
Harrison.
I did see the picture. It was nice.
Yeah, the picture, it's just great that he looks. Let me pull it up. He looks so happy.
Yeah.
I love. I can't think of his name. Is shoot. Let me look up.
You
Ki
look up the picture, I'll look up his name.
Ki Hu Kwan is his name. He's great. He's the best part of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I mean, he was
Um,
the best part about Temple of Doom, and I know that's a hot take. Uh,
but
but templating is not that
he's
great. So
so
of course
happy
he's
in
the
the
best one.
picture. They're both so happy. It's weird to see Harrison Ford smiling, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the only reason why so I love Indiana Jones, but I think there have only been 2 good movies out of 4. And so
Yeah.
I'm definitely reserving my excitement. The one thing that I care about Indiana Jones is that Harrison Ford is getting to play a character that he obviously loves.
Yeah.
Because I know he hates Han Solo.
Yeah.
Deckard from Blade Runner. I think he likes that character, but he just has no interest. He had no interest in returning to that character, and he doesn't like the theories about him being a replicant.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't
but
think
like,
he hates Han Solo. He just hates the idea of doing sequels and the fans and just being so
yeah,
obsessed with it. He just
sure. But I mean, like, whenever it comes to Indiana Jones, it always looks like he's genuinely ready to go back to Indiana Jones, and so
yeah.
I'm here for it for that. I'm just not super excited for a 5th Indiana Jones film myself, but I'm excited that Harrison Ford is having a good time.
Yeah, I'm concerned that Spielberg and Lucas have little to no. They're hardly involved at all in this, but that could be a good thing. We saw, Crystal Skull, and they don't always hit a home run with Indy. So here's hoping.
Well, and you know who's directing it, right?
I'm sure I've known, but I've already forgotten.
Oh, James Mangold.
Yeah, he did Logan, right?
He did Wolverine, Logan, Ford v Ferrari, Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma. He knows how to make a western, and so if this is Indiana Jones the Western, then you've got my attention.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Marvel. We had very high hopes for Marvel at D23,
I
and
almost
what?
feel like it's our fault, actually. I feel like
Well,
it's our fault because we read leaks and we took them as law.
yeah, the internet as a whole was just hyping this up, and we've heard lots of casting rumors about the Fantastic Four going into this, and those casting rumors could be still accurate. They just weren't for D23. But there were so many people online saying this is going to happen at D23, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and so we were just building ourselves up for disappointment.
They did not announce Denzel Washington as Magneto.
Right. And so here's the thing. Well, we'll get to the Fantastic Four a little bit, but it is way too early to be announcing the X-Men cast.
Oh yeah.
way too early. So yeah, I knew we weren't getting that unless Xavier was going to appear like in Fantastic Four or something coming out soon. There's no way.
I mean, we are not getting X-Men until after Secret Wars. Just we got to accept that.
Yeah, I accepted a lot of things this weekend. So, but let's talk about one that we're both. All right, I assume you're excited about. I'm excited about it. Werewolf by Night.
Absolutely.
This is Marvel's Halloween special. They're doing it like an old black and white horror film from the 40s and 50s. I showed it to my wife. She's like, that doesn't look good. I was like, it's not supposed to look good. Yeah. It's supposed to look really cheesy and like a mess.
And so here's the reason why I think they're doing it. I don't think it's just to be an homage to the Wolfman, even though it very much is. I think they're pulling a Kill Bill, where, if you don't know, in Kill Bill Volume 1, whenever it was the bride versus the Crazy 88, it was originally in color, but it was deemed far too violent and it got an NC-17 rating, so they had to put it in black and white so that way there wasn't as much noticeable blood, I guess. And so I'm hoping that them doing this in black and white is so that way they can go pretty far with the violence and be okay with it.
It did look a little dark in spot, like violence wise. The thing I'm excited about is we did see Man-Thing in the trailer.
Yes, we did.
So I know he'll be in there. I know that the Bloodstones are going to be referenced in it. So maybe they'll be setting up Eliza Bloodstone through this.
I honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and get my hope, because we've done a pretty good job about getting our hopes up and getting like really trashed, right?
Yeah.
What if Mahershala Ali is in this as Blade?
I doubt it. I
I'm
mean, that would
sure.
be a reason to announce his casting so early, so he can appear and stuff. But I'm doubtful that we will
Yeah,
get that. There may be some Moon Knight references, but
possibly.
I don't know when this is. I don't know if this is actually taking place in the 40s or if this is like modern day. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
assume it's modern day, but I don't know.
So the trailer, there's a lot going on in the trailer, and yet it's still nondescript, and I think that's the best way to do a trailer.
Yeah, yeah,
But yes, very very excited for Werewolf by Night. I know we didn't get anything on the Guardians Christmas special, but I assume that as far as a holiday special, they want to focus on this one before they give
yeah.
much about Guardians.
I'm sure that trailer will just drop out of nowhere in November. It'll just be like, oh, here's
I
this thing.
what if post credit scene for this is Guardians, because it's the next holiday special.
Um, it could be. If I was going to guess what the post credit scene would be, I think it'd be introducing another monster like Living Mummy or Dracula.
Morbius.
I think Dracula would be the best guess because then you can start setting up the Blade movie, kind of like a
Yeah.
teaser.
And
Um,
please let it be Anthony Starr or Anthony Starr. I want it so bad.
yeah, I'm kind of done with casting rumors after this weekend. I'm just like, okay. Um,
I mean, it's really, I mean, honestly, like, this show is really fun because you're the Marvel guy, I'm the Star Wars guy. I'm on cloud nine right now, and you are just broken, and it's a lot of fun.
this was a rough week for me of Marvel. I thought if we got nothing else this weekend, Fantastic Four cast was a lock, and that's all I needed, and we did not get that. There's another disappointment. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. So, anything else to say about Werewolf by Night? Are we good?
It is surprisingly, because I thought this would be my most hyped thing. Surprisingly, it's not, and it's not because of this, but it's because something else came out of the water and just kind of blew me away, and I didn't expect it to. So
Okay. Um, I did like how it started with the spinning special thing.
oh
That was
yes,
very much a part of my childhood with the
and the
CBS specials and
and
Homestar
like the
Runner, always making fun of it.
right, presents Werewolf by Night, and I'm like, oh man, that's great. I feel like I'm watching The Gray Ghost.
Yeah, but just the colorful word special spinning around
Yeah,
is straight out of my childhood. That's how they always did the CBS Snoopy cartoons and stuff when I was a kid. So a lot of fun. Um, and that's one of those things that if you're like a teenager right now, you won't appreciate it. But people our age were like, "Oh yeah, this is great." So, um, up next, we're going to talk about Secret Invasion.
yeah.
Um, I
So
thought this trailer looked all right. I wasn't like blown away, but I thought it was nice that we're getting kind of a more serious. I think you said this yesterday. More serious Nick Fury back,
yes,
and I think it'd be more fun if we were questioning whether superheroes were imposters or not. But it doesn't seem to be what we're getting.
right, right. And honestly, that is kind of why I'm excited for it now. Because I'm like, if you can't do Secret Invasion right, why are you doing it? Well, guess what? They're not doing Secret Invasion, they're just using the name. Um, it looks super awesome. It looks like a spy thriller, which is what I've been wanting from Marvel for so long, ever since Civil War, and Black Widow just didn't do it for me. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was a little too. I mean, it was closer, but this seems like it's going to hit that sweet spot. Um, so yeah, this was the thing that's from Marvel that surprised me yesterday, because I hate Secret Invasion, the comic book.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's
and
not great.
so, yeah. And so I was not excited for this anyway. And then this comes out and is like, hey, this is going to be a sci-fi spy thriller. And I'm like, okay, you have my attention. And then there's that one still and that my wife is in, and then I'm on board with it completely.
There you go.
Because Amelia Clark's in this.
Yeah, yeah. um, yeah, we'll see. This could be interesting.
I'm definitely more excited for Secret Invasion as of yesterday than I was on Friday.
Do you think? Well, I was gonna say, do you think they might start introducing the Secret Warriors in this? But they kind of did that on Agents of Shield. So I
I
know.
I do think they're going to do Secret Warriors in this. I don't think that they're going to count Agents of Shield anymore. I think
Oh
this
no, I
is.
don't. Not that they'll count it, but just I'm just talking about the characters like Yo-Yo Rodriguez and stuff using those.
Oh no, I think it's going to be one of those things where they just use the name Secret Warriors and they just put on the team whoever they want because that's what they do anyway.
Yeah, because it's not like the Warriors team is that popular to begin with, so
Yeah, I
you can
mean
just kind of do
like
whatever with the name.
they did the Defenders and it was Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, which none of them are Defenders in the comics. So it's just uh
Uh,
oh.
there, but I think you're. Are you back?
I am. You know what they saw that I was bad mouthing their practices and Feige tried to take me down.
Yeah. So what I said was you were saying that Defenders is kind of Defenders in name only, and this is
Yes.
kind of how I feel about the Thunderbolts. This is not the Thunderbolts.
I'm gonna go ahead and just and this lineup sucks.
I
um
agree. I mean it's we had a theory yesterday in our chat that maybe Zemo was posing as Taskmaster, which would be a fun reveal and kind of in line with Thunderbolts having those shocking reveals. Um, but I doubt it's going to happen.
so ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's ask what have we learned today? I think we've learned don't kill off your supervillains. Um
Well, that and introduce the freaking Thunderbolts in your movies, the Masters of Evil, because this is the Thunderbolts. That's not the Thunderbolts. This is the Thunderbolts. And this is what I wanted. When you say you're doing a Thunderbolts movie, this is what I want. Um, and they just have not introduced these characters. You know, unless you're going to reveal that Elaine from Seinfeld is Moonstone, I I don't know what you're doing. So
and I
I'm kind of frustrated this movie. This is like modern Thunderbolts, and I don't care about modern Thunderbolts.
So for me, it's not even modern Thunderbolts because I definitely was going into this and I'm like, okay, so this is going to be more Dark Avengers, and I'm okay with that. Um, but the issue is you don't have the proper functions. Um, you have Ghost who has useful powers, and then you have five other people who do the exact same thing.
And I feel like there's one more member. I think either Abomination or Red Skull will be the final member.
Yeah, that's
Um,
I mean, I was wondering. I was like, how is Abomination not on
well,
this in this
well
poster?
I think that She Hulk is still going on. When that ends, they'll add Abomination to the poster.
Sure.
Um,
But then at that point, you have Ghost and Abomination, and then five people who do the exact same thing.
yeah, this is not great, and I feel like they're just trying to do like a Suicide Squad type movie or something.
No,
And
this is definitely them trying to catch up, and it looks like they're trying to catch up, and it is not. It does not look promising. You know what this is? This is like they saw the Suicide Squad with James Gunn, and they saw the joke about like how Bloodsport and Peacemaker do the exact same thing. They saw that joke and they're like, we could make a movie just around that joke.
Yeah.
And
So
then
this
we've got this.
Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed this. I don't know. It depends on where they're going with the story, but these are, for the most part, I don't care about 80% of these characters, or maybe higher, 90% or something. Zemo is my main draw. I assume he's in the movie. He would almost have to be, because to me he is Thunderbolts. But
I bet you he's the bad guy that they're chasing after.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun if they're chasing after him. At the end, it's revealed, oh no, you've been working for him the whole time.
Yeah. So I like Bucky. I like Yelena. John Walker is an interesting character.
Yeah.
But Ghost has cool powers, but was not an interesting character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know why you have Yelena and Red Guardian in the
Yeah.
same movie again. I don't get that. And not only should Abomination be here, but there already is an Abomination here, and that's their Taskmaster.
It's so bad. I mean, I still haven't seen whatever that, I almost called it Red Scarlet. What is that movie called? Black Widow. I still have not seen that. But yeah, I could tell they killed that character. the possibilities of that character.
I mean, the mask looks better. I'll give them that, but this is just concept art.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows what it'll actually look like? One more.
I feel like we should have ended with Star Wars. I feel like we're ending on a downer.
I was tempted to, but Fantastic Four, we just got the director, and it's who everybody was saying online. The end. I think Matt Shackman is his name.
Matt Shackman,
director.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
he had, at least he has a proven track record. Unlike the director of the Thunderbolts, whom I can't even remember his name.
Yeah. So
he hasn't directed anything.
So I'm gonna call it now. We will not know the Fantastic Four cast until February.
When does Quantumania come out?
February.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's because that was, yeah.
I think we'll know Doctor Doom in November, and we'll know the Fantastic Four in February. Those would be my guesses. Yeah. Those are both in credit scenes, just like how we didn't know that Hercules, who was playing him, until the end of Thor. So,
oh man, that's my favorite. I love that's who we got to play Hercules. I love him.
Yeah, and I assume it's true. Kevin Feige said that they've only had the director picked for like 2 weeks, and they want the director to pick the cast. They probably haven't actually picked the cast yet. They've probably got people they've been talking to, but I don't think anything is official.
And it is not Krasinski.
I don't know. I lean towards it not being, but I could also see it where they say, "Oh no, it really was Krasinski." The more I think about that, the more I question their decisions. So let me just say this: I'm kind of frustrated with Marvel right now. She-Hulk.
Let's just go ahead. Blanket statement: there have been some really good stuff since Endgame has come out, but as a whole, Phase 4 has kind of sucked.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man No Way Home is the best thing, and then
I like Shang-Chi.
I thought there was a good episode of What If.
Yes.
One episode.
WandaVision was good.
I thought Moon Knight was decent enough.
I like Loki.
Loki was okay, although I don't feel like I feel like they've gotten really far away from what that character's supposed to be.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just kind of frustrated. Like, they keep doing these weird teases with the fans. We saw it with Ralph Boner, and now apparently I haven't watched She-Hulk since episode 1, but there's a magician on there named Donnie Blaze. And it's like, why would you use the name Donnie Blaze when the fans are demanding a Ghost Rider movie, and you're just teasing them with, oh, it's like Johnny Blaze, but it's Donnie. Isn't that funny? And it's just like, no, stop it. You're not
Oh,
being funny. You're not being cute. You're just being annoying.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's probably a slight at both, because you have Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch both
Yeah.
being the famous ghost. So that's probably a slight at both of the famous Ghost Riders.
Right, because they're probably not going to use either of them. They're probably going to use the new Ghost Rider guy in the car, which is
Robbie Reyes.
Which is whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not too familiar. I haven't really read his story, so I can't really comment on him.
He's cool, and I wouldn't mind him. I would prefer Danny Ketch over any of them, but I don't mind Robbie Reyes.
I like my Ghost Rider to be like the grizzled, long hair renegade type that's just on a bike, just trying to survive.
What I want them to get John Bernthal to play Ghost Rider.
And he's the guy who plays Punisher, right?
Right, because I want Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider is so much fun. Yeah. So yesterday I was sitting there thinking after the presentation, I was like, I really can't wait for Secret Wars to be over and they just kind of reboot everything. That's where I'm at with the MCU. I wanted that to be Kevin Feige's swan song, and he kind of sets up the pieces for X-Men and then just walks away, and then we get this new universe where they just recast a bunch of people and go from there, and then do an MCU proper.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
And that's not to say that what we got beforehand wasn't MCU proper, because I think with what they had, they did a really good job. They just didn't have rights for all the characters. But at this point, that you have all the rights to these characters and you still haven't done anything with them.
Yeah, they're waiting.
Well, at this point, you got to reboot.
You reboot, and then you can do Hulk and Rick Jones. So those are stories we haven't seen. You can do. There's all these stories that we kind of skipped that you can now do if you do a reboot.
That would be a fun show. Like, what's your phase 1 of the MCU reboots?
Yeah, we could do something like that. So yeah, overall, Lucasfilm definitely stole the show, which I was not expecting at all.
I was not expecting it, but I was hopeful. I was a fool who was surprised by my optimism.
Yeah, so that's our show for tonight. We're not sure what next week is going to be. It's going to be one of two things. We're either going to talk about RRR and Blade Runner 2049, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Or we'll be talking about the Nintendo Direct if there's a Nintendo Direct this week. One of the two we will be talking about next week.
So, and honestly, that would be the trifecta, because I've had the Final Fantasy VII stream that we had that revealed all that good stuff. I had D23 reveal all the Star Wars stuff, so now all I need is the Nintendo Direct to reveal all the good Legend of Zelda stuff, and then it'll be my year.
Yeah, and this is the perfect time for Nintendo to reveal the rest of the year. I will say this: the latest Amiibos came out on Friday. Steve and Alex from Minecraft, and they are terrible. They are just standing at attention. It's like you couldn't even put them in an action pose or holding a pickaxe or anything. They're really bad.
Well, and you know what? That fits for all the drama that Steve has caused in the Smash Brothers competitive scene. It's really fitting that the Amiibo is not good.
It's really bad. Either hand him a pickaxe and put him in an action pose, or give us a 4-pack with the skeleton and
Zombie or something,
or zombie and the what are they called?
Enderman.
Thank you.
I don't know Minecraft. I just know Smash.
Right. So
yeah,
all right.
I'm just waiting for the Sephiroth amiibo to come out.
I've got space cleared out next to Cloud on my shelf.
I don't even have the Cloud yet out. You know what I didn't know about amiibos? They have both regular Cloud and Advent Children Cloud, so there are 2 different Cloud amiibos, and I didn't know that.
Yes, there are. I don't know which one I have because I'm not too familiar with Final Fantasy. I think that Bayonetta is the same way. She has 2 different.
Gotcha. The
Yeah.
Cloud that you have, does he have a trench coat on, or is it just like
Oh, let me try and look. He does not have a trench coat. He just has he has like a purple suit on. Looks like Piccolo's a little bit.
Then yeah, that's OG Cloud.
That's what I have.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I've got the entire Smash Brothers collection except for the Mii fighters because those are not real fighters, and I will not buy those. So
They're competitively legal. It's weird. I don't
those
know
are
how it
not.
works.
But to make a toy of them, yeah, we're not. And to charge, I think it was $45 or $35 for the set. No, it was ridiculous.
You know what would have been cool is if like you could send in your personalized me, and then they'd make like if me fighters were made to order. Like if I could send in the Caleb me and
Yeah,
make him sword fighter, that'd be cool.
yeah. I think that they did that with GI Joe when I was a kid, where you could make your own figure. Like you'd pick the hair color and everything and send away for it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our show tonight. I hope you've enjoyed our look at Ninja Turtles. We will be here next week, same time, same bat channel. But until then, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
We will talk to you then. Bye.
See ya.